All right, good morning. As we always start, we'll please stand as we say the pledge. Commissioner Malt, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Smith, will you lead the prayer?
Heavenly Father, as we come to you once again, we thank you for the opportunity to come together to do the business that needs to be done here in the county. Lord, we ask that you would direct us, that we would make the right decisions to go in the way that you would have us to go. We ask these things in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you both. And it is July 2nd. Starting with approving the minutes of June 25th.
I'll make a motion we approve those minutes.
will second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of request for appropriation of funds.
Any comments or questions on item 2?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of request for appropriation transfer of funds.
Any comments or questions on the appropriation transfer requests?
I'll make a motion we approve the transfer request.
I will second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of approving payment of the regular schedule of accounts for the various funds, moral obligations, and the then and now certificates in the total amount of $506,991.53.
Any comments or questions on item 3?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of accepting miscellaneous reports.
Any comments or questions on our miscellaneous reports?
I'll make a motion we accept the reports.
I will second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of notification from the Ohio Department of Taxation regarding permissive sales tax.
This is a notification for April 2026. Sales local, $945,274.90. Sales actual, $470,282.23. Total, $1,415,557.13. This amount is $58,896.99 more than that of the previous April in 2025. Always a good trend to see sales tax increase. Any comments or questions?
I make the motion to accept.
I will second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of authorizing the clerk to advertise notice to bidders for proposals to provide gasoline services for recipients of various programs regarding Scioto County Department of Job and Family Services.
Any comments or questions on this notice to bid? This is for gasoline services for JFS, and it looks like the bid opening will be July 23rd at 10:10 a.m. Anything?
I'll make a motion that we approve the advertising for bids.
I'll second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of request to attend meetings.
Any comments or questions on our request to attend meetings?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of authorizing the clerk to advertise a public hearing notice for the 2027 tax budget.
So we do have a public hearing on July 16th regarding the tax budget for the year 2027. This is the initial run at the budget for 2027. It does end up getting changed towards November timeframe, but this is the first kind of the first part of the process for 27. Any comments or questions?
You know what day that is, the 16th? Off the top of your head? No big deal.
Tuesday.
Thursday.
Well, it says Tuesday on this, so public
It's
needs
supposed to be
updated.
Thursday.
Tuesday or Thursday?
Thursdays, since we're here.
Okay.
All right.
Glad I asked.
Thank you for that clarification.
I'll make a motion that we approve
I'll
the
second.
advertising.
I'll second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of accepting a minute certificate from the Budget Commission.
Any comments or questions on the amended certificate?
I'll make the motion to accept.
I'll second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of support in the application for ARC Power Planning Grant Project regarding the Scioto County Heritage Museum.
So the Scioto County Heritage Museum Group has asked for a letter of support. They are trying to go for a ARC Power planning grant. They did receive money in the capital budget through the State House to help with some funding there for the Heritage Museum. This group has been working very hard. They now have a building. They've been receiving funds, but this just goes a little further in their goal of truly having a heritage museum that can capture our history and the history of Scioto County. So this is just a letter of support. Comments, questions?
I make a motion we approve the letter of support.
I'll second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of approving payment to the Steps into New Beginnings regarding special.
So this is a last minute addition. We received a letter yesterday, a 7-day notice to discharge a child out of care due to slow payment. This is in the amount of $76,020. And it highlights the ongoing issue that we have with the cost of kids in care for placement, the slow payment of Title IV money, and just the rate in which fees are being raised by these providers. I did some math. I think we're paying roughly close to three times the amount per child per day than we were when we had 407 kids in care. So that's why you're seeing the increase in expenditures for providing care for kids in the foster system, even though our kids in care have reduced in half. So this is just another issue. This has to go through, or this group will be trying to do a 7-day discharge, which I don't even know how that's legal, because I know in my world, in the nursing home world, you got to give a 30-day notice. Really, in any housing situation, I think it's a 30-day notice. So once again, this industry, the regulations around it's just needs worked on, and that unfortunately that's at the state level. It's nothing we can do here today other than bring awareness to it and quite honestly pay the bill so we can ensure this kid continues to receive the care they need. Any comments or questions?
I make the motion to approve.
I do have a comment that I think it was last week. I put together a letter to Congressman Taylor's office about the 4E money and was in contact with them last week again, and they have opened an inquiry into why the money is so slow coming in, and hopefully they'll get back with us and give us some information. I don't know that this kid is 4E eligible, but if so, it could be a big part of the problem because we're not getting the 4E money as quickly as we'd like to. Congressman pushed it pretty quickly, said that I forget exactly what, but it was like $400 and some thousand that we had owed to us through 4E money, and not that it was all of it was money that we should get right away, but that's what was owed to us at the point that we sent the letter. And so they jumped in, opened the inquiry to see what's going on. Hopefully we can get that rectified and make the funds flow a little quicker. Having said that, I will second the motion.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of request for fund transfer,
This is actually transferring those funds into the appropriate line item, so JFS can pay this bill. Comments, questions?
Make a motion to approve the transfer.
I'll second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Hi. That is the end of our agenda. At this time, we'll entertain any questions, items on or off agenda. Bill Show, please, sir.
Hey, guys. Thanks for the opportunity. On the agenda, item number 7, we're talking about advertisement for bidders for gasoline services. Is that for gas cards?
Yeah, that's what we're
I think, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah, prepaid gasoline cards.
Okay,
Prepaid gasoline cards.
Yeah, just
Yep.
looking for clarification on that. Item number 9, talking about the tax budget.
Yep.
As you guys assemble as much information as you can to give to office holders and everybody about monies coming up, are you seeing any trends or anything different than what you thought coming out of last year's issues?
So the tax budget's interesting in that it is requests that we're getting I mean, the office holders at this point know that we will roughly have $22 million to allocate. The requests that we received this year are higher than the requests we've received any other year, so we're actually close to $30 million in requests. So those two things don't align with the messaging this board has been telling our office holders for the better part of a year and a half, 2 years. You know, we've asked, don't backfill. We've asked, do wage freezes. We've asked for cost-saving measures, and yet we're still being asked for potentially $8 million more than we'll even have to allocate. So by default, we get to be the bad guys, and we got to go through and cut, and then I guess the office holders have somebody to point at to say, well, we would have given you something, but those commissioners there wouldn't let us. The reality is the budget commission, not the board, determines how much money we have to allocate. And then we have to look at all these requests and say, what is reasonable, what is fair, what is appropriate. We've been talking frequently about the CPS issue. We know it's going to be an issue. We know it's going to impact our budget. And it has the real possibility of putting us into some sort of fiscal emergency situation. That's not being over dramatic, it's math. So we saw some office holders actually reduce their request. Not many.
You just got my next question.
Not many, not many, but we saw some. But then we saw some that we've been having ongoing conversations asking them to cut their budgets that requested more than they've ever had. So it's been an interesting analysis. I have sent some stuff to some office holders saying, hey, help us understand why your budget has moved the way it has, why you've created positions. What we don't determine here at this board is how many positions they have in their office, how much they pay their people, unless it's contracted. What we're doing is giving them the line item in which they operate. But there's always this game, if you will, at the end of the year where, well, I can't pay my people. So it's a game of chicken. Well, it's either you shut down your entire office for a month or two, or we figure out how to find the money. I've been saying, I'm not sure there's going to be money come November, so it looks like the office holders will be running their offices by themselves. That's not all offices, but there's some concerns. Very real conversations need to be had. Individual meetings with these office holders. But there's a recurring theme that most, not all, office holders are saying, but I can't cut. Everybody is critical. But if you look at staffing levels, even back prior to COVID, we have more county employees now than we've had. It's like, well, if we were able to do it then, why can't we do it now? Type of conversations that we're having. So it's an interesting dynamic right now, and it's going to come to a head. And of course, we'll get blamed for it, but we've been saying time and time again, get your spending under control. Or I guess you could just ask for $8 million more than we have to spend. I mean, it's those two things.
And Bill, you since I've been here, you've been coming every time, and you've heard me say from probably the second meeting I was here, it appears that the county is bleeding money. And we have been doing that because of people overspending on their budget. I mean, there are a couple other things, children's services placements and those type of things, but that we have very little control over. The overspending on their budget is an office holder issue that needs to be dealt with. And honestly, I think that they believe that we will come up with the money to take care of it come the end of the year. And I hope we can. I hope that we don't get into that situation. But as Commissioner Powell has already said, appearances are that that money's not going to be there come the end of the year. And so unless something happens to, all of a sudden the sales tax just balloons out of something that we wouldn't expect it to be and money comes in, we're going to be in a situation where office holders are going to have to make some real hard decisions.
Sometimes it's tough when sometimes it's tough when your name's on that shingle on the outside of the door.
Yeah. And for us, the blame's going to come back to us. They're going to say, yeah, those guys wouldn't give us enough money. They only give us a partial budget. And, there's going to be all kinds of things said. But realistically, we've been talking about this for, I know, about a year. We've talked about the situation was coming. And
and even longer before you joined.
Yeah.
So, Bill's heard this a couple different times. So we'll see. I mean, we have offices that are already ahead of their spending projections this year. It's like, well, you know what the budget is. So it's a game of, I think it's a game of chicken.
And I ask often in the hopes that there's some additional funding that comes through. That
There's always
helps
hopes,
everybody.
right? Yeah.
I know. Commissioner Malt, do you have a comment on this topic?
I think they pretty much summed it up. It's one need. I mean, you know, necessity is one thing and want is another. And that is pretty much it. So.
All right. Thank you, guys. Off agenda. There have been a lot of recently reported assaults on children in varying different circumstances in the county recently. I don't know if it's more being reported or more actually taking place. I know it's a delicate subject, topic, but I would like to ask all three commissioners for a comment as leaders of the county.
It's every day. It's heartbreaking. Every day you see it. Is it more frequent? I think, Bill, you probably hit on something. It's probably more. It's more evident through social media. I think some of these things have happened for years and years, and then it stays in the news cycle a lot longer, and it's devastating. But as leaders, it's our job to figure out in what instances could we potentially help protect better. I know we had the terrible incidents out the lake. It's gut-wrenching, and that gets linked to a certain community and a certain, treatment providers and all that stuff. Bad people do bad things regardless. But I did have, and I wanted to share, and it's kind of connected, kind of not, because I don't want to paint the entire treatment community as a community that would do those things. But we did have a very real conversation yesterday, myself, Representative Pazzulli, and a large group of treatment providers that I think share the same concerns about how the public is perceiving the folks they care for, how they're operating in public spaces. And I'll read off who was here. So we had Moving Forward, we had Era New, we had Focus, Southern Ohio Premier Recovery, Serenity Now, Cardinal Treatment Center, the Counseling Center, Hope Source, Ascend, Shawnee Counseling, Lyle Solution, and Integrated Services. And it was a real conversation about how do we deal with this stigma within the community, but then also how do we create a safety for those folks that are interacting in public. So the thing we've been talking about even prior to the instance at the lake is the perception within our park systems about safety and or behavior within different groups. And I try to be very careful. It's not all groups. There's but that's how the community perceives it, because I can't differentiate who's who. And honestly, we had groups yesterday I didn't even know existed in our community at that meeting. So it was the first time I heard their companies' names. But I was glad they was there, and I think they're very mindful of the perception. They are going to be working on policies and procedures better in terms of how they do their public outings, how they do operate in public spaces. And I was encouraged by that. It's a tough situation. But anytime you're dealing with people are messy. My whole career has been in dealing with the nursing homes and hospice and healthcare, and people in general are messy. Are we seeing more instances of child abuse and neglect? I don't think the numbers show that. I think the coverage shows that. We have less kids in care than we've had. We have some different, there's different dynamics you can look at, but how can we, as the people sitting here at the desk, help where we can? And we can't in all instances. Some of these things aren't related, but if we can put policies and procedures in place that better protect the public, or at least give them a better understanding of comfort when they're out in the spaces we control. We don't control all the spaces in the county. Like, that's not us. But no, I do want to publicly thank all of the treatment providers that were here yesterday, and looking forward to ongoing conversations with them. It was a very productive dialogue.
Before I get to Merritt and Will on that, there's been a lot more reported. I've been doing this for quite a while, and the last year or so, I've not seen as many reports of it coming, out of the county sheriff's office, the police department. Merritt, you've worked with young people for many, many years. I know this has to bother you. Would you please comment?
As you know, Bill, as you said, for probably 40 years, I've worked with kids in these situations, and it seems like we're seeing more. I don't know. I'm not intimately involved with it as I was, but it seems like we're seeing more. But the big thing, it never gets any better. I've been doing it 40 years, and I hear a report of an incident like what allegedly happened out at Shawnee Forest, and after 40 years, it still makes me angry. And it's hard not to be angry about the things that happen. I understand that, and I'm not trying to point at any groups or anything, but I understand that people have rights. People have a right to be in a public place. But also, so does a little 10-year-old girl have a right to go to a bathroom and not suspect that something like that's going to happen to her. A third grade group down in West Portsmouth who wants to go on a field trip over at Earl Thomas Conley Park, and they pull up and there's 70-some people wandering around the park who have every right to be there, but they also have a right to be there and have their field trip at the park and feel safe in what they're doing. And I'm not so sure that the communication between the entities has worked well enough to make people feel safe in the environments that we're working in here. And I think that I want to commend Commissioner Powell. He's pulled everybody together. He's trying to get that together, trying to make that communication work to where that we can have those people come in and everyone be able to share the public parks and do the things that need to be done, but in a way that everyone feels safe to show up at the park. And we've dealt with this for now a few months. And Commissioner Powell and I were down there last week, and we sat at the park and watched probably 70-some individuals come in from different facilities. And honestly, I don't know that I saw anything that I would say, that was bad behavior out of these people, but it's intimidating to have 70-some people running around all over the park and not knowing. If you're an individual that comes up, you don't know who they are, you don't know where they're from, you don't know what's going on. So there's got to be better communication. There's got to be a better way of working this system out. And the situation with this little girl was so horrible that I can't describe that. You had, I think yesterday they arrested a person allegedly for raping kids out in Memphis. You had the situation up in Hamden where they had found 16 kids locked in a room basically, and and those things had nothing to do with the situation we're talking here. It just has to do with the fact that we've got a lot of things going on that are bad things, and as a society we have to deal with those things, and it's getting harder and harder to, in your mind, when you see it in the paper every day, you see it on Facebook every day, you see harder and harder to reconcile that in your mind and say, okay, this is what humanity is doing right now. We've got there's better than that in this world, and I hope that we can pull that better out of everything that we're working on here.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, I have a 10-year-old granddaughter myself, and I can't imagine the ramifications or implications from this. It's just a tragedy that could have been avoided. I hope it doesn't occur in the future. I hope we can do something from this point forward within our power. We have morally and legally sometimes don't always equate. I tend, so.
All right. And into questions on a positive note, How do you guys plan to spend your 4th?
Look, we have a huge bash at ETC Park. We're talking about parks, America 250, the events are all free. I know the splash pad will be free. Music, Friends of Portsmouth is putting it on. We'll be at the parks enjoying our time. I know there's that event, there's the event in New Boston that they always do a heck of a job there in New Boston. I saw a couple others listed too. I think down at the 100 Mile House is a paid event. So there's a lot of opportunities to get out and to celebrate the birth of this country. It's not a perfect country, but by golly, it's the best in the world. And after 250 years, we're still standing strong, and it's an opportunity to celebrate the freedoms we have. So that's what my family and I will be doing. We'll be down at the park.
All right.
Unfortunately, I will not be down at the park because for probably the last 20 years, we've had family in and done a family thing on the 4th of July, and we'll be doing that again this year, and trying to celebrate the 250. I remember 200. A lot of you guys probably don't, but I was in Washington I was in Washington D.C. when we celebrated that. So that's the way that we will do ours. And as Scotty said, it's the greatest country in America. And I saw where a German individual who's here in the country for the World Cup said that if you want to hate America, watch the news. If you want to love America, come and tour. And since they've been here, a lot of those World Cup people have truly enjoyed being here in America and said a lot of good things, and especially about ranch dressing. They love ranch dressing. So, but anyway, for my family, we'll be spending it out in good old South Webster doing the things that we've done for a number of years.
The heartbeat of it all. Commissioner
I
Hall.
was 8 years old in 1976 for the bicentennial, and it was very memorable to me. It was 50 years ago, and I still remember. And I hope 250 is just as memorable to everybody, and especially the young, as it was for me in 1976. And I plan to be here in Sullivan County.
Guys, appreciate you answering some tough questions today. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
sir. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Bill.
Any other questions? Anything? Nothing? Yeah. More than welcome. Yeah, please. And just say who you are and where you're from. We know Bill. He's here every week. He's with the news.
My name's David Herring. I'm from Cincinnati. I just recently moved down here. I'll make this quick. I guess item number 9, the budget for 27. Is this in other budgets publicly available?
Yeah, that's part of the public hearing. So all of it will be publicly available to review.
Okay, where can I look at the recent budgets?
We can get you a copy if you make a request. We can get you a budget. Yep.
Alright, cool. I guess that's all that I had from that paper there.
Okay.
What are like the main sectors of this county?
What do you mean?
Business sectors. What's the main ones?
So we're heavily in the service industry, healthcare, education are the primary drivers. We have some manufacturing, but those are the predominant drivers
Okay, gotcha.
within
And,
economic development.
It seems this county is sort of expanding a little bit. Like I know you guys have a lot of future projects coming up. Are you trying to attract any other sectors into, this county, or are you good with the ones you have now?
No, anytime we can attract, and this is my opinion, speaking for myself, anytime we can attract is good. So, we do have the Google project, a couple $1 billion project, different opinions on whether or not that's a good thing, but that is the next iteration of really the economy, not just here in Ohio or Scioto County, but within the country. But anytime we can attract, so we have an economic development director now, and you probably haven't been in our area long enough to know, but we went through some issues with economic development. So we have a director now that's fully engaged with the region. Anytime we can attract manufacturing, but the reality is when you look at economic development, the majority of new jobs come from existing companies.
Right.
So we always try to attract, but also trying to figure out how do we help grow folks that are already here. That's where historically, not just here in Scioto County, but really in the state, new jobs come from.
And who is the new economic developer?
It's Tiffany Leemaster. She is the director of Scioto County Development Corporation.
How do you spell her last name?
Leemaster, Lemaster, I believe.
Okay. I have several questions, but I'm going to keep it short. Just a little bit of the history in the past couple of years. How effective do you think the CHIP grant has been?
The CHIP grant is effective for the people that's gotten it. The problem with CHIP in general is very limited funds.
Yeah.
So we have a consultant that handles that. It's a first come, first served basis. It's kind of the fairest way we figured it out because there's so many people, specifically in this community, that would like to utilize that benefit. But it's such a limited dollar amount. So we've had some successes within the people that have gotten that.
Okay.
But in terms of the total amount, there could be a lot more people helped if the state would allocate more funding toward that program.
When we open up the applications for the CHIP program, we have people lined up to get the applications to fill out, and there's only so many we can hand out. We hand those out, and then that's pretty much the end of it. And there's a lot of other people that would love to be helped by the CHIP grant, but it's just.
Okay. Well, this isn't on my paper, but like, so I'm a construction guy, so like I love construction. So, you know, as I drive around, I see a lot of older houses.
Yep.
You know, is there any involvement with you guys in developing those, or is that okay?
No, so the mechanism with this board is if there's grant money, we could go after that.
Right.
If there's grant money within the land bank, we could go after that. The land bank really, in most of its history, has been tearing down blighted property. But they do have that ability. There is a group in Scioto County that is looking to build. They did a housing study, and they've created a nonprofit to try to start building some grant-funded projects. Our mechanism is, and we, Scioto County Housing, I'll find it for you.
Okay.
Housing Initiative. I think Craig Diatley might be the president of that one. So there's that group that's working towards it. What we can do is potentially incentivize through tax abatements. Sometimes it's a popular idea, sometimes it's for other people that own. So for instance, in West Portsmouth, we did do a tax abatement on a housing complex. It'll be 107 units, I think, when it's all done. And the goal there is mostly for seniors.
Okay.
Independent living, but it's for seniors. So the goal there is that those individuals that are currently trying to maintain a larger house than maybe they should be in,
Right.
there's not a good place for them to transition to that then opens up for families. So that's just one piece of it. We also sit on the planning commission where we review different plans that developers have just to ensure that they're following the right regulations for housing or subdivisions. So that's kind of our piece within kind of the commission and how we tackle that.
Right.
And also to, just to make you aware of it, with the planned economic development that's happened in the region, I mean, we've got the data center they're talking about, we've got the thing that we're talking about in Piketon. We're looking at, there's probably gonna be a housing shortage.
There already is.
Yeah, that's
Before
what I
long.
figured.
There already is.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an extreme housing shortage, because they're talking, in Piketon, they're talking 35,000 at peak. Construction workers. We're talking 1,200 at Franklin Furnace. If you bring all those people into the area to work, there's going to be a true, I mean, we've already got a shortage, it's gonna be worse if
Yep.
that happens. So I think people are gonna truly be looking to develop and make housing better available in the community really quick.
Gotcha. Yeah, and, you know, tax abatements, they are a weird issue. I don't know much about it. I will do my research on it. I'll probably have questions next week on that.
Sure.
Let's see. Okay, two more. Where can I get a look at future projects that are being developed right now?
In terms of economic development projects,
Yeah, we'll look at that.
So in this county, unless someone is asking for some sort of incentive, they don't have to run any of those by us.
Okay, all right. Gotcha.
So this county, unlike Cincinnati, now the city might have a little more insight, anything happening in city limits in terms of permitting.
Yeah,
That would be at the city level. The county, most of the county does not have zoning.
okay. Gotcha.
So they could build, I know there's some projects even in Willersburg, Porter Township, they don't have zoning there. People are like, hey, what are they building there? And I'm like, well, I don't even know. And they're like, you're the commissioner. I'm like, well, they don't have to run it by us.
Right, yeah. Gotcha.
So that's the interesting angle,
Yeah.
as you get into kind of some of the Appalachian counties. Unless they're asking for something, we may never know that they have a project.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And let's see here. The event in the park. What time is that?
Oh, that's an all-day thing.
All day thing. Okay.
Yep, it's, I'll find it for you. Friends of Portsmouth is putting it on. I don't know, they might still be asking for volunteers. It starts at 4 p.m.
Okay.
But the reality is the park's open. The splash pad is free right now until July 5th anyway. So even if you get there early, you'll still be able to enjoy the splash pad. But the specific things that Friends of Portsmouth is doing, so like the kids area, the food trucks, they have music starting at 8, fireworks are at 10. So their specific event starts at 4, but of course there's things to do at the park kind of all day anyway.
Gosh, you said they're looking for volunteers?
Yeah, they're always looking for volunteers. Yep.
Do they have like, where, is it on Facebook? I don't really use Facebook.
Friends of Portsmouth is the nonprofit group that's handling that event.
Okay.
They also have a website, friendsofportsmouth.com. I think you can actually
Okay.
sign up as a volunteer on there if that's something you or folks are interested in.
Gotcha.
They do a lot in the community. If
Okay.
you being newer to the community, they do that. They do Oktoberfest. They do a month-long Winterfest, Christmas celebration throughout Portsmouth. So, but there's a lot of different nonprofits in that area doing events.
All right, that is all the questions.
All right, appreciate you coming in. Thanks so much. Anything online?
I have one question from Stephanie Thurman. She asked, has the county considered installing security cameras at our local parks, recreation areas, and other public gathering places in West Portsmouth, or some type of park security patrol like Shawnee State has?
We have looked at cameras previously at the park there at the dam. I don't think we've ever moved forward with that yet. We haven't not had that conversation yet regarding ETC Park. In terms of patrol, that would fall under the sheriff's purview. So I have seen them out patrolling our parks. I've seen them down at Green, down at the one in Franklin Furnace. I've seen them at ETC. So they are, if they have people, I've seen them drive through in those spaces.
That was it. That was all.
That's it? All right. With that, I'll see if there's any closing comments. Commissioner Malt.
Yeah, I have a quote from Abraham Lincoln from February 22nd, 1861. He said, I have never had a feeling politically that did not spring from sentiments embodied in the Declaration of Independence. And I think that's very fitting considering this is the 250th anniversary. And I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe July 4th. Thank you.
Commissioner Smith?
I would echo that. I hope that everyone celebrates the 250th. As I said, you guys weren't, but I was around. I was an adult at the 200th anniversary, and it was a big celebration. And I hope that this is the same. I think that across the country they're trying to make this work and trying to make it a great celebration for our country. And I hope that they do. I hope that everyone gets the opportunity to come out to one of the celebrations, whether it's New Boston, whether it's the one down on the west side. Other places are having them, like you said, the 100 Mile House. There's stuff going on all over the place, and it'd be hard to miss one. So hopefully everyone will get out. And I heard today that today was National Disco Day.
Oh, good.
And there may be pictures of me floating around at one time in a powder blue leisure suit doing a disco thing. So,
If you find it, I'll be more than happy to post it
I
on
will
social
not
media.
find it. But
If Sandy,
that may
Sandy,
be out
if you're
there.
watching.
So happy Disco Day.
Thanks for that. And then I'll just echo both these gentlemen. Get out, create memories with your family. There's a lot of nonprofit groups. There's a lot of groups putting on some fantastic events and really instill what this country means. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But it's you hit the lottery when you were born in America. There's people that are dying daily trying to get here or wish that they lived here. So happy 250th, and please get out and enjoy the parks and all the events. But with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
All right. Have a happy 4th.